Some nights on the 3 to 11 shift, I got to be charge nurse. But usually, the charge nurse was an older nurse. She must have been 50. She lovingly called me Brat, and I lovingly called her Poston. I made it up. P-O-S-T-E-N. It stood for poor, old, sick and tired, elderly nurse. Now, Poston used to tell me about how things used to be. Well, now, here it is, 2002. I have a number of friends who are young nurses, and they are young. They must be 30. And when I start to tell them about the way we used to do things and the way things used to be, I realize I'm that old nurse. I'm Poston. And everything has changed. And I know how much better off I am if I balance them all three every day. That's when we should be more like toddlers. Ask for what we need to balance our lives. Has anybody here ever known a toddler? Do they not ask for what they need until they get it? I want some juice. I want some juice, I want some juice, I want some juice, I want some juice, until somebody gets this kid some juice. Now, we tend not to do that. First of all, it takes us a long time to figure out it's juice we want. And then if we figure out what it is we need or want, we don't always ask for it like a toddler. Instead, we tend to do things like, I didn't get any juice today. I hardly ever get juice anymore. Nobody seems to care if I get my juice or I don't. We need to ask for what we need lovingly so we can balance our lives physically, mentally, and spiritually every day. And then when we do, we can bring that balance to the workplace. But would you agree that we don't always do that? Not only do we not bring our balance and not take good care of ourselves, we brag about it. I've worked here 20 years. I never have taken a break. Or, one of our best ones is, I worked straight through lunch again today. Here's our favorite. I didn't even stop to go to the bathroom. So when the new nurses start, and we are orienting them, and we are role modeling, and I believe we always are role modeling, whether we want to be or not, we're role modeling. And so what do we role model to them? That we don't even care enough for ourselves to empty our bladders promptly. And then do we not perpetuate this within our own profession? This lack of self-care? How do we orient the new people? We should always be mentoring. Many hospitals are getting an official mentoring program, and that's marvelous. And if it's not official, we should even unofficially be mentoring each other. But we've all thought about quitting. We've all thought about relating to the nurse in this cartoon, haven't we? Do you want to speak to the man in charge or the nurse who knows what's going on? Don't you agree that if hospitals and administrators and nursing organizations, if our employers nurtured us, encouraged us not to make those choices and the priorities in our lives, but nurtured us and encouraged us to balance our lives every day, we wouldn't quit, even though the work is hard and everything has changed. But you know, it's never been about hard work, has it? We've never minded the hard work. It's not been about that. And besides which, everything hasn't changed. Oh, sure, patients don't stay 7 days anymore. Nurses aren't certainly behind the desk doing administrative things. RNs are at the bedside, and they're in the boardrooms, and they're in the classrooms, and they're on Capitol Hill. But there's one thing that hasn't changed, and that is what called us into this profession in the first place. But it's not even a profession, is it? It's a service. And the thing that calls us to be here today and to be in this service are the same things that called me to it 30 years ago, and Poston 30 years before that. that is that heart of a nurse. That calling, and it is a calling, isn't it? That calling to minister to people in their toughest hours. That's why we don't quit and work for corporate America for twice as much, because there's not enough money in the world to pay us for what we do. What a privilege, what an honor we have to literally touch and change lives.